Good morning, everyone. I think I've actually got Instagram and Facebook to come together at the same time. Excuse me while I just have an itchy eye. So today, you'll see that I'm in a little bit of a different background. Um, I have actually set up my own little spot in my home office with all my beautiful books behind me. This was all especially designed. We've got a lot of inbuilt bookcases all around our house, in hallways, in my master bedroom, in the office that I have here, my home studio, and I love having it filled with books. So a lot of them did actually end up going to the studio when we moved into a studio last year. But I still have a lot here, and you can see there in the background, I've got a piece of artwork which my grandmother actually painted. She was an artist, and when she passed, I don't actually know what happened to all her artwork, and that tiny little piece behind me is the only piece I have. Her whole house was just filled with her own artwork, and that's all I have. So there it is behind me, and I'm sure that she's with me today. So off on that personal level, and excuse the background of my dog barking. I would normally be telling him to be quiet, but he's obviously having a nice time with the neighbour's dog. So today, I actually wanted to chat to you about the placement of TVs. Now, this has come up. Generally, always the ideas about what I'm going to talk about today on the Forever Home Lives is generally to do with something that's come up with our clients during the week or during the last couple of weeks, and I've thought, this will be a really good topic to talk about. And TV placement is one of them. Now, it's a little bit controversial because generally speaking, the instant or the most common train of thought is to actually have it centered on the wall. And even further, to have it... hi, Carolyn. Sorry, you're all down there. And the thing that a lot of people gravitate to is, okay, let's have the TV placed directly above the fire. Well, I'm here to tell you today, quite controversially, that I don't actually agree with having the TV in the centre, whether it's on an entertainment unit or on a wall, and I'll talk about both. But even... I'm trying to think of the right word here. I think above a fire is really not necessary, and there's two big reasons for that. It's such a common way to have the TV is above the fire, above the fireplace, or above the fire on the chimney breast. And one, I think you have a fire there because it's adding a beautiful ambience, it's adding a sense of coziness, and it's just a feature on its own. So for me, why on earth would you then go and put a TV above it? For me, it just detracts. It attracts away from the whole reason we install a fireplace. And a lot of people don't install, particularly in new homes, a fire to have as additional heating. It's actually really, really put in there because it just creates such a beautiful ambience and feeling in a space. So I just think when you put a TV above it, it just sort of destroys that whole look. The second reason, and this is a more practical reason, is that it actually then means that your TV is generally too high. You've got your fire there, and depending on how the placement of your fire, of course, that will affect the placement of your TV, but it is generally too high. So there are two reasons. One's an aesthetic and a feeling, and the other one is a practicality one. So they're the reasons why I don't think it's great on a fire. And look, generally we have a conversation with our clients. They just feel that, oh yeah, that's what everyone else does. And it's only when we have a conversation with them and we're talking about, hi Tracy, that we're talking about, the reasons why you wouldn't do it, or let's talk about why you want to do it, that we really get into the nitty gritty and we come to, an agreement about what's going to be best for them. Sometimes they're adamant that's where they want it. That's fine. It's their home. We're not there to say you can't do this. But it's really exploring the reasons and really then exploring what the options are and why you may do it another way. Most times clients will go, yeah, I understand that now. I get that. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that now. So, what are some of then the options? So, I am not a fan overall, and controversially again, but I'm here to voice my opinion and get you to challenge me on that. I love it. Um, is having it on the wall for me is quite restrictive, and so generally the TV is, and I'm obviously talking about generalizations here. Generally, the TV will be centered on a wall. And for me, the TV should not necessarily be the focal point of a wall. It needs to be part of, a space. So I generally will design a space. We generally at White Pebble we design a space so that the TV is not the focal point. There's other things in our lives apart from the TV. Now, that's not to say that you don't necessarily need to have the TV placed in an area where you still have good visibility. So in a home that we're designing at the moment in Yarraville, because we've done all the space planning, and we realised that we saw and we showed our client the way your furniture is going to be and the way it's laid out, it's not actually conducive to have the TV centred on the wall anyway. Now, the architect said, let's centre it on the wall. That's where we're having it. And then once we explored and explained, well, we've actually done the space planning of the furniture internally. We know where the sofa's going to go. We know the layout of where they're going to be seated. And actually having it centred on the wall means that the TV is really going to be sort of at one end, and you're effectively going to be at the corner of a sofa looking at that TV. So the architect hadn't actually done that space planning exercise, understanding where the furniture was going to go, and then being able to place the TV in the best position. So because we knew where the furniture was going, we knew that the best place for the TV was actually right aligned on the wall. And I was really happy with this, and so was the client. And the reason being that it meant that the TV was centered around where they were going to sit, but it wasn't centered on the wall. It also meant, because it was right aligned on the wall, that we then had an opportunity, and so do you when you're not centering your TV on the wall, we had an opportunity to then balance the TV and not make it the focal point. So even though it was positioned ideally for the seating, we actually then had an opportunity to have art on the other side, to balance the TV with, for example, a table lamp, some art, perhaps a really beautiful floral arrangement, but it means that it's not the focal point. So generally, if the TV is right in the middle, you don't have a great opportunity to balance it with anything else. It's in the middle and that's it. And so if we do put the TV to the side, it gives us some space to be able to create other things around the TV, so it's not all about the TV. And I suppose as a designer, I'm really trying to make the TV, or I'm really trying to make it that it's not all about the TV. And if there isn't an opportunity to put the TV into some sort of, a hidden cabinetry, so that it isn't always the focal point all the time, then it's great to balance the TV. Now, there's obviously, or not obviously, you may not be aware of the new release of TVs. Probably about 8 years ago, there was a technology that enabled TVs to be able to be mirrors when they were turned off. Now, this was quite cumbersome process. I did actually go through this with clients where needed to be sent away, and there was a particular specialist that was then able to use a technology that when you put the off button on, it would then become a mirror. There are now new TVs available, Samsung being one of them, that you turn it off and it can become a piece of art. You can choose the art. It could be a family photo. It could be a piece of art that you love. It could be a mirror. So it means that the TV is then, when it's off, it is actually something else rather than just a black screen, which is awesome. Now, talking more about TVs than I actually thought I would be talking about TVs. So let's go back to the wall mounted part. You need to make sure it's not too high. And the other thing with it being wall mounted is you don't have flexibility in being able to place that TV somewhere else. So the reason I'm a big advocate for having the TV on top of an entertainment unit is, Kate just mentioned I'm looking to get the Samsung frame. Look, it's not the cheapest TV in the world, but it just gives you so much flexibility. And I love the fact you can turn it off and it becomes something else. And then it's not about looking at a black screen, it is a piece of art in your home. All the more reason to not have it centered. So when the TV is actually placed on top of an entertainment unit, and again, we have this conversation with our clients a lot, let's look at the flow of your space. Let's look at where your furniture is going to be placed, like we did with our client in Yarraville. And then we work out the best location. So, but the other thing is, and this is what I do in my own home, is we generally have a winter and a summer setup. So I call it, the summer setup is party setup. We take up the rug, and we know that we're set up for parties. We kids can come over because we have a big New Year's Eve party generally. Not sure if that's going to happen this year. So we bring up the rug and we actually lay the room out so there is more floor space. So it is more conducive for having a lot of people over. Open up the doors and we've got this really awesome internal external flow. So it means then that the TV needs to be positioned on our entertainment unit in a different location. So when it's in party mode, the TV's on the right-hand side of the entertainment unit, and when we're in winter mode, we actually face our sofa in front of the entertainment unit rather than at the side. We have our rug down and it becomes a more intimate space. And that means then that the TV flips to the left-hand side because the positioning of our furniture is different. Now, if you've got a wall-mounted TV, you have less flexibility with how you can reconfigure your room. And so everyone knows that when you change the layout of a space, it's almost like having a holiday. And if you do have the opportunity and the floor plan that enables you to change your furniture around, it means then that you can change your TV around as well. And it really is nice to have a different layout in the different seasons, or just you might do it every couple of years that you're going to change the space up. So if the TV's on the wall, you lose the flexibility. So there's another reason why I love having it on an entertainment unit. But the other reason is you've got this beautiful entertainment unit, you've got the TV left or right aligned, and then again you can balance the TV with something else. So for example, you may have a lamp, you may have a floral arrangement, you may have a piece of art. So it just gives you more flexibility to be creative and stop making the TV being such a focal point. Now, I will add that it can be quite challenging with the males in the household for them to have the TV left or right aligned. And I have a conversation, and again, if it's not mounted on the wall, you can play around. So I always encourage my clients to place their TV on the left or the right of the entertainment unit and live with it for a couple of weeks, because as I've said previously, you always need to have a good couple of weeks with a new layout to get used to something. Put something in a room, take something out of a room. You need to be able to live with that for 2 weeks to really know whether you like it or not. It takes that couple of weeks to get used to something rather than it being jarring because it's different to how you're used to it being. So left or right align it and see how you feel after that time. And I have actually never had anyone who's done that and experienced that and live with that say, I want to go back to the center TV. You just get used to it. And again, you can play around with your furniture and make it work. Now, I will say it's not going to work 100% of the time, but it's rare that we can't get it to work where the TV is not the focal point of the space. So there's something to play with. I think the key takeaway here is you need to be able to space plan your furniture to really know where your TV is going to go, especially if it's going to be mounted on the wall. And I know that can create a very streamlined aesthetic. And look, our clients in Yarraville, it was just going to work for them so much better than having it on the entertainment unit. But we just made sure that it was all space planned with where the location of their furniture was going to go so that we knew how that was going to work, where we need to position it on the wall. The architect had not done that exercise. And that's why, we had to go back to him. He got our drawings and he put it in the middle again. I went, no, I'm sorry, but we've actually had a conversation with the client. We know where the furniture's going. This is why it is the way it is. And he said, okay, yeah, it makes sense. But we did that exercise with the client, so we did know. So you need to do that for yourself. You need to work out where your furniture's going so that you know the best location for the TV. All right, so, and don't forget, when it's on an entertainment unit, you can actually angle your TV. It doesn't need to be straight on. You can pivot it to the left and pivot it to the right so that you do have it slightly on an angle so that you've got maximum viewing functionality. Okay, so that's TVs. God, I think I've outdone myself here on TVs. Now, the other thing I needed to let you know about is next week on the Forever Home Live on the 11th of September. I'm here at 9:30 as usual. I'm actually going to be running a Q&A on the beautiful kitchen design made easy course that's coming up. We're going to be launching it next Friday. It'll be opening up with a very special launch special. However, if you get onto the wait list, there is a super special for those that are actually on the wait list and sign up during the launch special. So next week, I am going to be sharing a really good top tip on kitchen design, as well as taking Q&A on the actual course itself. It's a short course. It's not a really, really long course, but there's some awesome material in there to really get you set up for designing your own kitchen. So next week is a little bit special. Top tip on your fundamental of kitchen design, and then I'll be going through some Q&A on the actual course itself. So that's beautiful kitchen design made easy, and that's exactly what it is. And for those of you who have followed me, you know that I am an oversharer. I give lots and lots of information away, and this course is collating lots of information from the Kitchen Design Essentials podcast. There's all the transcripts in there, as well as the kitchen masterclass, the Forever Home Kitchen Masterclass, and lots of other resources for you. There's a needs assessment for your kitchen, which is critical for you to be able to assess the design, but also for you to be able to brief the design. So that's next week, special for next Friday. So do we have any questions today? I need to have a look at, hello, Fabi. Fabi's now in sunny Townsville, but still part of the White Pebble team. And she's always now in her singlet while I'm still in Melbourne winter. I have to say, from a Melbourne perspective, the countdown is on for, coming out of COVID. Sunday's going to be an exciting day because we hear from Dan the Man on what it looks like after the 13th of September. And hello, Good Change Store. Hello. I am really excited to hear how we're going to be taken out of lockdown level 4. It has been challenging. Look, when we first went into lockdown 4, I didn't feel that it was that different for us. We had been, being at home a lot. We weren't going out to restaurants just because we could. We weren't having masses of people over just because we could. So going into lockdown 3 was pretty much no different for us, except we couldn't have family over, which was quite tough. Going from lockdown 3 to lockdown 4 initially, didn't really feel the difference. We weren't really travelling anywhere, so the 5K limit for us was not that different. But I have to say, being in it now for 5 weeks, a little bit of variety, I would be so grateful for a little bit of variety. I'm still grateful every day that I get to go to the beach every day. I get to feel the wind on my face, and I don't have to walk the streets, surrounded by buildings. So I'm really grateful for many things, but I am really hanging for a bit of variety. Being able to go for a drive, being able to have my family over. I've really missed not being able to see my parents and having them over for dinner and lunch, and being Father's Day on Sunday and not being able to have my dad over. We always have my family over on Mother's Day and Father's Day. That's going to be really hard. And I know he's really going to feel it. But I've organised with my brother that we're going to meet him in a park, and, I'm going to have a care package for him. We're going to do a really beautiful roast that he can go home and enjoy that, but remotely. And we'll set up a Zoom call and have that with him. But it is going to be really hard. I'm really going to feel that. So I'm really, really keen to get out of stage 4, I have to say. So I know that all those Melbourne peeps that are listening in, it has been really challenging, and I didn't think it would be as difficult as it has been, but I think I'm just dying for a bit of variety. Even though I know we've got more variety in our lives than most, just being able to go to the beach and being able to go to a plethora of different parks around us, just being able to do that has been awesome. But boy, I'd like to be able to go to another beach further down the coast, or just even be able to go and drive to the bush and enjoy a little bit of serenity in the bush, which is really my happy place. So anyway, that's a bit of a personal story about coming out of lockdown 4 in Melbourne. And I know a lot of people that follow are not based in Melbourne, got a lot of people in Queensland. And my goodness me, you're so lucky up there because you're not in lockdown at all in various parts, particularly in the north. So anyway, that's me. Hope you've enjoyed the TV segment. Any questions? Doesn't look like we've got any questions. That's fine. Save them up for next week because hit me with all your questions about the beautiful kitchen design made easy. It is definitely going to be made easy for you in terms of how you can follow step by step to creating an amazing kitchen for yourself. So have a great weekend and same time, same place. I'll see you here next week. Bye for now.